Technological advancements have helped innovations, incentives, and productivity over the years. Chief Executive Officer, FOG and Bakers Resources, Biyi Oladipo, discusses how investing on startups can help accelerate growth of development in Nigeria.
Thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you, Fred.
So tell me, what is your assessment of the Nigerian tech ecosystem as of today?
The technology space in Nigeria is growing, and I have a rare privilege of being there when it wasn't really a solid industry as an industry, and I'm still here when we can see things happening. We've gone through the various cycles of technological development in Nigeria. I'm not saying we're there yet. We're not there yet. We're not quite there, but we can see that things are happening in terms of hardware, software, networks, and already we're talking about broadband development, which in some climes are given. But if you understand our technological history, you will know that we are scratching it, yes, but we will get there.
But what are those elements that you think should be in place that isn't in place as of today?
Our major challenge has been and still is infrastructure. And if you ask me, I'll tell you that we got it wrong at the beginning. Like 10, 12 years ago, 12 years ago, we started to correct the mode of infrastructure development, and that's why it's been slow. If the kind of monies that were pumped into the defunct NITEL were opened up initially as it's been opened up now, we won't be where we are today. But it's slow and steady. We're getting there.
So beyond infrastructure, what are the other things that you think maybe could it be support, advisory services for the SMEs, or what do you think?
Yes, we're not there in terms of a support system for startups and for even for those who have started and are struggling. We still don't have the right support for them. But we have people who have taken it upon themselves to invest in those areas, and those investments are paying off. We have a few hubs that have come up, especially in the technology space, that have come up, which are doing very great job in developing SMEs and helping tech startups to find their fit. What the hubs do basically is they take away the pains of starting up the infrastructure that the startup needs to put in place. They take them away from them and just allow them to do what they know how to do best. And that's where we are. We're not quite there, just like every other thing in the technology space. We're not quite there, but it's growing.
But are we making the right progress?
I think we are. It's slow, but I think we are. One of the things that you would notice is today, you look around, you see a lot of young people who are developing apps. I have a young man in my house who, in the last 4-5 months, has come up with 6 different applications for different things on mobile and on PC and on Windows. So you can understand that we have people who are getting there, but what I'm just trying to do is try to shape the kind of things that he does and get him to not just to develop apps for apps' sake, but develop things that people will need.
Startups need a reliable, effective way to make money, or else they'll go out of business. Oladipo shares his view on mentoring a startup.
Now, I was going to go to using him as a point of reference or as an example. What are the kind of advice that you give to him when he's making apps? Do you look at the market potential of such apps, or you just allow him to start and then he runs with it?
Okay, I allowed him to start so that he could get himself into the sink of developing stuff, and the joy that comes with developing and the pride that I did this. The first thing he did a very simple game, which mimics checkers, and after that he did a war game, which for me, just something to excite himself and his friends. And then later, he came up with a lifestyle game. Now, at that point, what I did was to sit him down and say, hey, young man, let's sit down and look at these things that you've done. And then look at the foundation and the philosophy behind the development. For me, that's critical. That's something that is missing with people. Most people just want to develop applications and then put them on the streets. It won't work. So, 3 things I told him. Number 1, create an application that will meet a need. That's the first thing. In all the SMEs that I have one dealing or the other with, one of the foundation things that I tell them is make sure that whatever service or product you're producing meets a need. If it meets a need, it definitely will sell. The second thing is when you're developing, make sure that you are enjoying what you're doing. If you're not enjoying it, you won't put your passion behind it. And the third thing is don't look at the money now. The money will come. Because if you look at the money immediately, you won't have the patience to put roots on your codes. Because you'll be in a hurry to get the thing out.
But I would think that in other climes, luckily he has someone like you around him. But I would think in other climes that such developers would have a place they can go to where they can just plug into a system and have such ideas grow into a major international big idea.
The truth is, what is happening with us, it's on a mini scale with what's happening in other places. A lot of the climbs that you're talking about have had support for SMEs grow over so many years. We don't have that yet. We're just developing it. I don't want to mention names, but there are hubs around that today people can. I have a few friends who have pioneered hubs that young people can walk into today. Those things were not there 10, 15 years ago. But today we have the
majorly in Lagos.
But majorly in Lagos, yes.
And the Vice President was talking about the need the government would create 6 incubation hubs across the 6 geopolitical zones. Do you think that's the right way to go?
Well, who am I to go again? Who am I to criticize? Who am I to criticize what my Vice President has said? But in my opinion, creation of hubs, I think government should provide an enabling environment and let the private sector do the work.
And stay off it.
Because what usually happens is the government starts something and with very good intentions, but the execution of it would have to follow the rules that guide the creation of such establishments. So you start to bring federal character, you bring this, you bring that into it, the bureaucracy, and it slows things down.
And innovation needs speed.
We pump money into it, and then we don't see what I would advise is let the government provide an enabling environment and let the private sector individuals who have a flair for things like that run it.
Okay, this is just me asking you, Biyi. Do you think that we should have a special fund that understands the risk involved in investing in technology businesses? Because most times they may not succeed when you expect them to succeed.
My answer is yes. But it has to be funds from people who are not ready for returns tomorrow. Now, okay, I'll give you an example. This is not a tech startup. This is a manufacturing company that I had that we did some work with some time past. We're still working with them, but they had a major issue. And what was the issue? The guy financed a 15-year asset with a 90-day fund. Because that was what was available, and the guy has to run his business. So he kept seeing, all he was seeing was red. All we just did with him was to see that when the guy screamed, I can't sleep at night, oh, they are chasing me, oh, the bank is screaming, oh, My wife will wake up, full call in the morning, full call in the night. And I sat him down, looked at his cash flow, excellent cash flow. He could meet his obligations, but what was missing was that part where he needed long-term funds to be able to run the assets. So we sit down and we restructured it. We went to the bank, sat down with the bank. The bank said they couldn't. We looked for somebody who could buy the bank out. They bought them out, and then they spread the thing over 5 years for him. By the time we ran the cash flow, today the guy is smiling because he can sleep well. So we have those mismatches. So if you have people who are bringing money into technology, they have to be waiting because every technology has a gestation period. Just like every other thing. There's a life cycle. And if you invest at the wrong side of the life cycle, what happens abroad is you have venture capitalists and PEs, private equities, who the venture capitalists put the money down for the tech startup to go, and then by the time they get to a certain point, they exit and then pass it to a private equity firm. Now, for every private equity firm, their staying period maximum 5 years. After 5 years, they are ready to leave. Okay, so if we have such here, if we can build such here, it's an industry, a whole industry on its own. So if we can develop that here, and the guys are not ready, are not waiting to say, okay, tomorrow, the guy puts in 5 naira today and is expecting 6 or 7 naira tomorrow, then we're good.
Okay, finally, do you think that our quest for foreign things is sort of affecting the growth of our ecosystem, whether it's from using .ng or from using foreign softwares? I mean, for example, a particular state government uses one of the biggest users of Oracle, you know. So what do you think about that?
Okay, now you're touching on a very sore point for me, but it's okay. It's sad. If you walk on the street and you ask someone, what football club do you support? When we were growing up, there was Rangers, there was Leventis United, there was IICC Shooting Stars, and we took pride in supporting them. But today, ask people what clubs they support. People who have never been to airport support Arsenal and Chelsea. I think it's something that's developed over the years, and we need to change our mentality towards it. We need to start to take pride in our stuff. I gave my email address to someone the other day, and the guy was like, you mean this is really nice? It's a name.ng email address. And the guy, oh, this is really, you mean I can actually have this? We need to start to take pride in everything. And that's affected every part of our being. If it's not coming from abroad, then it's not good. We have to change that mentality. We need to start to build that pride, build the pride in ourselves, get all our people to use the .ng, get ourselves to take pride in the things that are Nigerian, that's Nigerian, and then we can grow, kill the appetite for Igbo things, and then grow our own industry.
Ultimately support the tech startups.
And
I want to thank you for being on Tech today.
Thank you, Greg.
All the best.
All right, thank you.
That's our show for today, but the conversation continues online, so do follow us on social media. Remember, you can watch the entire show on the channel's TV YouTube account or via my blog, techsmart.ng. For Tech Trends, I am Chukwuemeka Agbata.